So I recently got the chance to get a bit of an early look at a card battler by the name of the Foretold Exordium. It's a rather short game that's going to be releasing for free on Steam pretty soon, and is a prequel for the upcoming game, the Foretold Westmark Legacy. I use the term game sort of loosely here, as to me it feels and looks more like a demo, or the first chapter, or whatever you'd like to call it, for Westmark Legacy. So, since it's not really a full-on game, I figured we'd do something a bit different and do more of a first impressions kind of thing, and mainly just go over some of the bullet points of things that have stuck out to me after completing a couple runs. So for the pros, we have a few main points. 1. The art style is pretty good, has a very Darkest Dungeon vibe, which I like and is fitting for the mystery/Lovecraftian vibe they seem to want to be aiming for. Number 2. The idea for the combat system is interesting and has a lot of potential to be very thoughtful and engaging. Number 3. All the dialogue that appears is fully voice acted. Number 4. The persona point system has the potential to cause a lot of interesting choices to determine playstyle during a run with how it affects certain aspects of combat. Number 5. The use of a checkpoint feature ensures a higher chance of players unfamiliar with the system being able to complete areas or runs to push the narrative forward. And over on the con side, we've got 1. Combat seems heavily reliant on RNG for the dropping cards to be what you need, particularly early on in a run. 2. Locations on the map seem to always be the same type of node each run, with a slight lack of variety or substance to events. 3. Combat feels like it lacks any real meaningful interaction between the two parties, other than a few minor buffs or debuffs that tend to not last very long, so combat essentially just becomes a DPS race. 4. Damaging debuff tooltips for Leech and Bleed seem to not always clearly define how much damage it's actually going to be doing, as the numbers seem to not match rather often. And my only real neutral point is more a confusion of which direction they're taking the game. Like, if the game is trying to focus more on the storytelling aspect, it should probably have a few more fleshed out events or encounters to add to the overall plot experience, rather than just the small bit of plot in the beginning and end of a run or area. And if it's focusing more on the card battling and deck builder aspect, it needs to focus on having more of a feeling of variety available for different builds. So, unfortunately for right now, the game doesn't really showcase enough overall variety to make multiple runs appealing. So if you play through it once, you'll have roughly the same experience outside of, like, the difficulty from hard mode. I don't say any of this to dunk on the game. I actually really like it in concept, and think you folks should give it a try when it becomes freely available on Steam. I just say it in hopes that the end product can improve and be a better complete experience when Westmark Legacy comes out. As after trying this out, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with the systems they do have, and I'll be keeping an eye on it for when it fully releases. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. I'm off to working on the next project, and until next time, take care.